Good morning. It's Laura here from Your Last Resort Home Organization, and it's Friday, so we're back with another organizational tip. And every week we like to bring you another series of videos with lots of great tips to help keep you organized in all facets of your life. So today, it's spring, and spring seems to be a time for buying and selling houses and homes and thinking about moving. The weather's nicer and things like that. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today, is getting organized in the home buying process. So to help us with this conversation, brought in an expert here. So you want to introduce yourself and say who you are?
I am Marianne McLean, and I am a local mortgage broker here in the Valley. I help people find homes. I get them ready. I customize solutions around their home buying needs and help them with their finances.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you're there as a support and help us through this whole home buying process.
Make it easy and hold their hands through the process.
Because it's a scary process. It's a lot of money that you're investing, right?
And it can be stressful. Yeah. Absolutely. So
especially if you're not organized.
That is true. The whole point of our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I should also mention too that if you're watching live with us, if you have any questions that you want to ask or any of your own tips that are relevant for the home buying process, type them in and we can see them come up on the screen.
Absolutely.
Or if you're watching this after the fact, leave your comments below about your home buying tips and experiences as well. So, Marianne, we're talking about buying and selling houses. So you've got a little bit of experience from your own personal life too.
Absolutely.
So how many houses have you?
We have bought and sold 5 houses. Wow. I know, we're crazy.
Wow. Since being married.
Yes, for 10 years.
Wow, within 10 years, 5 houses.
Yeah. We have a renovation business as well, so we kind of put a little bit of money into the renos, semi-flip them, sell them, and then move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a process that you're very
familiar
with. So it is a lot of things.
Yeah.
It is a lot to keep track of. So,
absolutely.
So I guess my first question to you is how do you keep track of all those pieces? I'm thinking about we've been in our house for 15 years, so it's been a while since we went through the home buying process.
Yeah.
But how do you keep track of all of your appointments, or what places you've seen and what you've thought and what are the features you're looking for? How do you stay organized when looking for a house?
For sure, it's definitely harder. It's once you do it the first time, though, I found. So the first time we were going through the house that we bought to sell it and then move on to our second house, I realized, holy cow, we have so much stuff that we have literally never touched. And after that, I bet you we threw out truckloads of stuff to Goodwill and to SPCA and stuff. And I realized after that, it's everything you buy is a needs or a wants. Do I really need this?
Especially if you're moving that frequently.
Yeah. So we we've decided to be kind of minimal on the things that we need and really analyze something before we buy it and only have one of everything. We don't need, 20 bottles of shampoo.
Yeah.
And body wash and all of that stuff.
So that makes it easier when you go to move.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at a house, and maybe you've seen I don't know, I think we saw probably 20 houses when we were house hunting. So how do you keep them all straight? What you've seen and what you liked and the comparisons? And
what we really like to do is, of course, the realtor will always give you a cut sheet. We like to turn it over, make notes on it as we're going through the houses. And then, at the end of the week or the end of the process, when we're ready to buy, we always, sit down at the table in the evening. We talk to the kids. We have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and we, ask them, because we really feel like it's important to know what was important for each house to them.
And you make notes of all that.
Exactly. And we just talk about it, and we all decide as a family which house was the winner.
And then you keep all those notes and everything together for helping you make that final decision. Excellent. We do have a question coming in here. Can you see that?
Yeah. So Tracy, hi Tracy. She asked, how much harder is it to get a mortgage now with the new rules? It's definitely
So what are the new rules, or
So
what is
new-
she talking? What's Tracy talking about?
new rules are the new stress test that the government has implemented in January, where everybody that goes to buy a home has to qualify at a posted rate of 5.34% over 5 years. It used to be that you walk in, you get qualified at whatever rate was, the 3% or the 2%. But the 5.34 is set by the government, so they can actually put it up or down depending on the market. So they really hold that piece for us, and it has made a difference in bigger markets, definitely, like the Toronto, Vancouvers, the Calgarys. But here, not as much. I mean, it does lower people's affordability, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we have so much consumer debt, so like credit cards and lines of credit out there, that I think that if we qualify people at their top number at the current rate, I think that it would actually hurt people more than help them.
So it's
For sure.
This is a good thing.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
I think so.
Okay.
And what extra documentation do you need to organize to qualify? Not really any extra, honestly. We pretty much ask for a blood test when you qualify for a mortgage as it comes for paperwork. There is a lot, definitely, but that really hasn't changed a whole lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for your question, Tracy. So keep the questions coming in too, as we and we can, as I say, we can answer them as we go along. Okay. So we've got all of our notes. We've got, what did you call it? A cut sheet?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got our cut sheets with the information sheets from the real estate agent. We've written all of our notes. We've asked our family, and we've seen lots of houses. Okay. Now I'm ready to buy.
Yeah.
Okay. We've made our choice.
Made your choice.
So
you
what do I do?
got an offer in, offer's accepted.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. You go see your mortgage broker. Me.
In Wolfville.
On
Main Street.
260 Main Street.
Across from Willow Park.
Big red house. So you go see your mortgage broker. Preferably, you've done your pre-approval. You know what number you were supposed to be at and what your budget was. But if not, we will ask you to bring in your last 2 pay stubs, letter of employment, and last 2 years' notice of assessments. As well, where your monies are coming from for your down payment and closing costs. So we usually like 90 days bank statements showing wherever that money is coming from.
Okay.
If it's in your hands. So if it's gifted, which we do see a lot, parents, grandparents
Are gifting a house?
gifting down payments and
Yeah.
closing costs.
Yeah.
Usually what we just need is a proof that that's been deposited and a gift letter signed,
Okay.
and then we get the process going. We get you an approval, a final approval. Give you your numbers. You sign a commitment for us, which is just you're committing to that rate, that payment. We'll talk to you about some different options about purchase plus improvements, which is great for clients. If you found the house that you love and you're thinking, okay, in 5 years I can fix the kitchen, we have an option to actually add that renovation cost into the mortgage at such a minimal cost. We always suggest people save your savings, because you don't know.
I think that's what we did too. We added our renovations into our mortgage
And
costs.
it literally, I mean, if it's pennies on the dollar what it adds to your mortgage, even if it's $10,000, it's $5-10 a payment. It doesn't make a huge difference over those 5 years.
Excellent.
And you keep your cash in your pocket for the just in cases, or the
Life.
life, yeah.
For other life things. So when you come to see you, you're saying we need a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
And we need to have all this information available. So do you have some suggestions on what you need to keep, or how to keep it, how to keep yourself on track to not to miss anything?
For sure. I always suggest, get a banker's box or some sort of filing box, and every year put your notice of assessments in there, make a filing cabinet, something, because I know a lot of people, hi Kara.
That's right, we both know Kara, don't we?
Keep them organized and make sure to keep them, because sometimes it's not always as easy as popping on the CRA website to print those things off. Sometimes people have been blocked out because they've tried more than 3 times, and then we have to wait 10 to 15 business days to get back on there. Like, it just becomes kind of a hassle.
So if you keep everything in one spot,
Yes.
then it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Now, you were telling me before we went on air that you had some stories about maybe some situations that did not go as
Yes.
well as they could have because the person wasn't very organized. So do you want to
Yes,
share
definitely.
those so that we all can learn?
There was a time when I had a client who couldn't find any of their documents. And
Like what kind? Like
notice of assessments. They did have their pay stubs, which was good. And there was also some child tax that I needed some receipts for, and there was self-employment, so I needed full tax returns on all of that stuff.
sorry, you can interrupt for a
Yeah.
second, but you need a lot of personal documentation and financial information. I say it's been 15 years since we've bought a
and
house,
they
right?
changed so much the mortgage.
I just don't remember, but
Yeah.
you really need to be able to put your hands on this stuff.
Pretty
Sorry,
much
continue.
nothing short of a blood test, like it's or your firstborn.
You really need to know where all that is. So, sorry, continue your story.
Yes. No worries. We were short on time. It was a short closing for the mortgage, of course. They couldn't find anything, and the lender said, "No, we need this stuff up front. We won't give you a final approval until we have it," which is rightfully so. So I said, "You know what? Why don't I come over, because it made me easier, and let's hash it out. Let's find everything. Let's get it all done." So she took me to her closet and said, "It's in here somewhere."
Oh, wow.
And I pretty much went in there and was on my hands and knees looking through papers and trying to organize.
Oh my gosh.
So things like that.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah. And they slow the process down so much. And our timelines are so short anyway.
Yeah. So the client could have missed their approval for their mortgage and could have missed the house.
Exactly.
Because their paperwork wasn't in order.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a great lesson.
Yeah. So definitely keep your paperwork and keep it filed, organized. Huge tip. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, absolutely. So any other tips and things like that are you thinking for getting organized or keeping organized in the house buying process? Or the other thing too, I was thinking about, I'm sorry, I didn't warn you that I was going to ask you this too. I was thinking, because I was going through our own, we have a filing cabinet and everything is filed, and I say we've had our house for 15 years. So we've gone, I think maybe through two mortgages.
Yeah.
Maybe, but through that time, I can't quite remember. Anyway, but how long do I need to keep all that paperwork? And do I need to keep the paperwork from the first mortgage, even though that's passed and done? I'm putting you on the spot because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this.
Yes and no, you have to keep the paperwork. It is easily accessible from the lender that you were at, for sure. But it's, I'm trying to think of how to answer this. If you go to do a refinance or your renewal and you want to switch lenders, definitely we will want that paperwork. But if your plan is to sell right away, then you don't really need it.
Okay.
But it is good to have on hand. Just I
was going to say, in this case, not when in doubt, throw it out. When in doubt, keep it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And all in one place, labeled so you know where everything is.
Yes.
Right.
And for us, the tax returns and stuff, we'd like to see 2 years, but I always say keep 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to keep them for 7.
You're technically
supposed
to.
But you need access
Yes.
to 2 or 3 years.
Yes. Organized.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because you say you may be asked for the child tax.
Yeah. Because some lenders do allow us to use child tax as a income source.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay. So another good reason to get yourselves organized and keep your paperwork organized. I know through our business, through the Your Last Resort, paperwork is one of the big things that people struggle with, and it takes a huge amount of time to go through, especially if it's all chaotic in a closet, right? It takes a lot of time.
Or in a junk drawer.
Yeah, or here and there and here and there. So it's good to set yourself up with a system right away. And at least, you know, even if you take that time over a weekend or whatever, just to get yourself organized. So moving forward, especially if you know you're going to go into the house buying process, or I mean, really anything, moving, life, right?
Just keeping stuff organized.
Keep your stuff organized so you know where it is. And as Marianne said, whether it's in a banker's box or a tote, or say we happen to have a filing cabinet. You can get lots of them cheaply. Kijiji.
Yeah.
Old ones on Kijiji. And actually, a friend of mine, a blogging friend of mine, Heather Laura Clark, in Truro, she has just done a post on how to take an old ugly filing cabinet and make it beautiful by covering it like in, I don't know if she used wallpaper or fancy paper. Oh, nice. Anyway, that's a total aside. I didn't know I was going there. Anyway, but then, so keep yourself organized and keep your stuff together, and it'll make your house buying process less stressful and an easier process. So, Marianne, tell us again where you're located in case people need help with a mortgage.
Absolutely. We are at 260 Main Street in Wolfville, right across from Willow Park in the big red house.
And what's your how can people find you on Facebook? What's your
I have a Facebook page. Just look me up, Marianne McLean Mortgage Broker. I have a page on there, and I post almost daily about mortgage tips and stuff like that,
and information like that too. So that's great. So we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your information, and that's a great resource too. So make sure you keep yourself organized, and hopefully your house buying experience will be positive.
And definitely remember to try to before you go reach out to a realtor, always get your pre-approval
before
so you have your numbers.
So you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, because we've seen so many times people get let down because
I love this house. But
I can't get my budget, right? Yeah.
Okay. See, great to learn lots of things. Keep yourself and avoid the disappointment, because it is a big process. Yes. So thank you so much. It's really interesting. I'm hoping to stay in my house for a while, so I'm hoping that we don't have to go through that process. But if you are, reach out to Marianne.
Absolutely.
And her Facebook page is tagged in the in this little blurb above, so you can be able to find her there as well. So, and then next Friday, we're going to be back online and talking with Nancy O'Halloran. And she's from Braveheart,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes,
she's pretty awesome. So what Nancy and I are going to be talking about, and something you can probably relate to, Marianne, is babysitters.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get organized when you're going to have a babysitter?
I like that.
Yeah, so you're on that end where you may have to know what you need to have things organized for when your babysitter comes. I'm kind of at the other end now, where my son is now babysitting and babysits quite frequently. So how does he stay organized for his babysitting? So we're talking about babysitting, we're talking about organizing, and we're talking with Nancy Halloran next week from Braveheart. So tune in next Friday for more organizing tips. So in the meantime, if you have been motivated to get your paperwork organized and you need some help, we're at yourlastresort.ca, and we have organized several offices already, and I love doing file work. I love it. I love organizing paperwork. I know, it's crazy, but I love it. I love making files, and we've done a few of them. I'm typing, right? It's just crazy, the things that bring me pleasure. But anyway, love doing offices and love to come and help you. So we're at yourlastresort.ca, and we can come and help you with your office or any other thing that you need getting organized as well. So until then, till next Friday, we'll see you later.
Have a great day.